Hello, 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 beautiful people, lovely beings. Listen, I was actually just jamming out to my own intro. I like my own intro. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. What's the vibe? How are you guys doing? It's been not too long since you last heard me. So it's currently Sunday, the 27th of September. A lovely Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, beautiful beings. And yeah, this weekend was, I don't know, the energy of this weekend was kind of mad, to be honest. Like, I felt like I got a lot done, but at the same time, I feel like I was working from a place of, I don't want to say nothing, but like, it's interesting how the universe, God, kind of just shows you, we think we need so much to get stuff done. We think we need to have so many resources to get stuff done. When those things are within us already. Those things are within us already, lovely beings. And sometimes all we have to do is to just believe and walk in that blessing. So, welcome to Breathing with Juin, guys. And for those of you who listened to my first podcast, I appreciate all the love and the support. And I am back again because I want to continue this message on steps towards loving yourself. Because we're going to love ourselves. Loving ourselves is a way forward. It's something that I feel like a lot of, again, as I've said before, a lot of me and my peers, like, I feel like we just lack self-love. And I love the idea of being able to talk with you guys, share my experiences, and learn, and vice versa. I think that's a beautiful rapport that everyone should have in a friendship, in a relationship, mother and son, dad and son. I feel like we need to figure each other out, help each other out through this thing called life. Yeah. So I hope you feeling nice. And before I get into the meat of the matter, funny enough I said meat, I just want us to take a nice breath in and out and in and out. Nice. So, continuing on from the last podcast, steps towards loving yourself. I've been thinking about it for a while. What is it I want to talk about? And I just realized, there's so many things I can talk about. I just need to choose and elaborate. But obviously, I wanted to really talk about the things that I feel like stood out to me most in my journey growing up. And I'm not that old, but I feel like I've been through quite a bit, and at least I've always been the type of person to, really evaluate myself in a situation and try to figure out what it is that has gone wrong, what it is that I should be doing, shouldn't be doing, just so that I can learn. I just feel like, why repeat things over and over? Even though something is hard, sometimes it's hard. Some things you have to go over through multiple times in order for you to get better at it. But I feel like at the end of the day, man, like, it's about getting better, right? It's about getting better. So, one of the things that I'm gonna first start off talking about is, I remember when, as a kid growing up, I went to school at Christchurch Foundation School. What was my experience like at Foundation? I love the idea of school. At least I love the idea of being social at school, but that didn't really play out the best for me. I grew up in a time, and still is this way a bit, but at a time where being overweight and also being effeminate to a certain point was just not what society was looking for. And I was both of those. At least I didn't think I was, effeminate. I just felt like I was just being genuine. As it pertains to being overweight, that's something that I couldn't necessarily change right away. That obviously, it just took a legit toll on me. It was just too much. And I think being overweight at school, it just wasn't the nicest experience. I remember like trying to leave school just like 10 minutes early because I just felt so uncomfortable being on the bus with, other school kids. Like I was teased on my way home every day. Um, and if someone didn't say something stupid, they would be laughing at the fact that I was sweating, or they'd be laughing at the fact, oh, he's a guy that sings and look. It was actually so stupid. And, I was thinking the other day, you know, parents, we really need to do, we need to do a better job at how we raise our kids because, kids go through an age where, they really can't connect with emotions and other people's emotions, and they become very cold, and it's a part of their evolution. But I think we can do a better job at teaching them how to, be nice to their peers and to actually love. So I feel like we don't even teach kids love, what the true idea of what love is, from in the homes. Long story short, that became really hard for me, obviously, but I wanted to believe that I was strong, and I was, because I went all through it. I had some teachers too who just wasn't nice, would say some of the most, like, I don't know, out of timing, just things to make me feel bad, or at least if it wasn't to make me feel bad, it made me feel bad, whether it's about what I was eating. And the thing is, I wasn't the most overweight, but I guess I was definitely heading for that direction, and everyone else saw that. But I also knew it within my mind that I needed to do and change something about myself. And had I, known or had some sort of like guidance, or maybe like, let's say, people necessarily around my age that I could relate to, I feel like I would have felt better. But for me, it was just, I saw it as a journey that I was going through on my own. Um, and of course, I have a loving family, and I have, well, at the time, I had a really lovely friend um, in my life, Barrio. But he passed away, and he's been guiding me ever since, darlings. Um, but since he passed away, on top of the fact that I was just like battling my way and being teased and just going to school and being within a school system that's not even, it's not even education anymore, it's informational system. Yeah. It was just a lot, and I honestly wish that I knew, or I had the confidence to reach out to those who loved me and say, listen, this is what I'm going through. And the thing is, like, I love my mother because she's always been there for me. And, I feel like a lot of these things too, I would have communicated, but not in its fullness. I just felt like it was something that I had to battle. And obviously, now looking back, I've learned a lot, and I'm obviously a totally different person. But, in reflection, self love, because that's what we're talking about. Self love, yeah. One of the ways that you really, 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 you know, can love yourself is by reaching out to those who have shown their love for you, and those who have said, I am here for you. Even though it's kind of hard because we live in a world where you can't tell who's actually here for you anymore. But you got to trust your energy. You got to trust their energy as well. You got to now stop looking at, like material things, what people have, and what they say. Look at what people do, and what the energy actually that they give off. What does that read? And you got to reach out. We can't get through life on our own. And if you want to love yourself and see yourself propel to the next level and get yourself out of any sort of like, depression, anxiety, feeling bad about yourself, you got to reach out. If you want to, since then, I've had a lot of people come to me and ask, like, how did I lose the weight? And how did they do this? How did they do the next? And I definitely want to talk more about that, but not now. But I'll definitely tell you, it began with me realizing that I wasn't loving myself. Yeah. So let's keep things a little light. Going on to the next point though. Actually, before we go on to the next point, I would love to read this quote by Andrea Dijkstra. Yeah. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. And I feel like this is going to lead on to my next point, and also the one what I've mentioned before. You can't hate what you've been through. As soon as you associate hate with an experience you've been through, you then continue to tie yourself to that situation. You know? So learn from that experience and use it to propel you forward, instead of saying, oh my God, why I had to go through this? Why did this have to happen? Why I had to sell my house? Why I had to move? Why I had to sell my car? Why did this person have to leave me? Learn. There's something that you need to learn, and if you learn it, you feel much better. You feel much better. You will. Yeah. And I feel like it's hard. It's easy to say, but at the end of the day, like, it's something that I live by. And as soon as I don't live by it, like, it just never works out for me. Cause I can't hate. Hate is such a deep word. It's such a nasty. Hate is such a strong word for me. Like I don't know. For me to hate something, because I always see the positive possibility and experience in everything. This world is both negative and positive. There's a balance. And on earth, we're working amongst the negative forces, unfortunately. But as you continue to let your light shine and be positive and align yourself with Source, God, He's going to definitely prepare a table before your enemies. I'm telling you, He's going to. You just got to stay connected. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for, the things that you've said to yourself, the things that you may be ashamed of that's happened to you, the things that you've told yourself or told, whatever it is, forgive yourself. Don't hate that experience, but use it to propel you forward. Yeah? And believe in the fact that you can change your very experience. Talking about forgiving yourself, one thing this year I had to really look myself in the mirror and say, yo, Julian, you really allowed yourself to see yourself through the lens of other people and not through the lens that you've always trusted in from the very, very beginning, which is your lens. Sometimes, and it couldn't be hard, as much as I try to stay focused and positive in this world, like, it's very easy for what people say to leave a print on your mind, leave a stain there, which is why sometimes, even if you don't want it to happen, because you're associating yourself with that energy and you're in that environment, your subconscious mind is going to pick it up nonetheless. And I had to forgive myself for allowing myself to do that, because then you get up the next day and you're like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? It's because you're not seeing yourself anymore through your lens. And babes, it's a great feeling when you only look through your lens, because you know what? Your life is unique. Your life is unique. My life is unique. And we are all we are all gonna have an end at some time. Yes. But there's a beautiful journey between the beginning and the end. And that journey is uniquely yours. Something that I also love to do when it comes to just loving myself is journal my thoughts down. I like to journal all my thoughts down. Well, not all. Sometimes they end up becoming Sometimes they end up becoming songs. They become I don't know, stories, films. Listen, I don't know. My mind does a lot of different things. But journal your thoughts down. Whatever comes to your mind, wake up on a morning, and even if it's not the first thing you do. Side note, I do think you should have a morning routine. I definitely have one that I try my best to stick to. And the thing about morning routines is that it's not something that's just going to happen just like that. I have been changing my morning routine for over the last 5 years. And the one that I've just adjusted to, I'm now still getting accustomed to. So a morning routine is amazing. But going back to my point, journal your thoughts down. If you got a pen, paper, iPad, on your phone, just go to your memo pad and write all your thoughts down. How are you feeling? What is outside like? How is it affecting you? What's on your mind? What happened yesterday? Whatever passes through your mind, just write it down. It doesn't need to flow. It doesn't need to story. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know if it makes sense." It's for you. So you write it down. Just so you get your mind into that rhythm of release. You get your body, mind, and soul into that rhythm of release. Because you can't keep it all inside. And that's something that I love about, my theatrical training as well. Because I just feel like from the time I got into this world of theater, I just feel like breathing and releasing and the idea of tension and release was so important because we as human beings, we hold so much tension, and you would not believe the amount of tension we hold just from a simple conversation, just from a simple, it's actually crazy. Our body tells us everything, right? So learn to release. In the dictionary, release is to allow to move or act freely. Or you even have to allow, to enable, to escape from confinement or set free. So my lovely beings, it's time. It's time for us to set ourselves free. Set ourselves free. Okay, it's time for us to set ourselves free. All right, peoples. Let's move on to the next point. So, I am sure we've had those moments where I'm not sure if I'm about to sell myself, right? But I am thinking we've all had those moments where you're going out and you are like, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna put on? And half of the time, and I remember growing up, I always used to question myself this. Half of the time, I am like, why? Not just me, but why do we ask ourselves that question? What are we going to wear? Is it to impress others or to impress ourselves? And I'm going to say this: from the time I start realizing how I was allowing the approval of others in such small little situations to dictate what I do, what I say, and what I wear. And that was causing the downfall of loving me. And it was so subtle. It was so subtle. I need to start taking the piss, to be honest. It was so subtle that I didn't even realize. And I feel like I'm so happy that, self-love and self-reflection and meditation is something that I began from such a young age, because growing up as that individual, I am realizing how much has benefited me. But I'm also realizing, my God, I have some people who are still affected by this. Still going online, still don't know how to value themselves. They put in others on a pedestal and they're putting themselves in the gutter. Like, I'm just like, you have to in every way know your value. You don't need the approval of others. What is that? What is that actually? And how if you want to know how to get yourself over that, then realize the value. One, up your skills. One of the reasons why we see others as more important and we put them on a pedestal is because they're doing something that we can't do, or they look a certain way that we can't look. Superficial things. If you want to change something about yourself, you can change it. If you want to learn something new, you can learn it. So I just feel like it's really, 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 really up to us to decide how we chart our own future, and how we chart our own future is determined by what we do in the now. And we need to love ourselves now so our future looks like love. You understand? Yes. So we don't need the approval of others, lovely beings. We do not. Just be your truest self. We've never needed the approval of others. Never. Never. Do you remember when you were small? I'm not even talking about when you were a baby. I'm talking about when you were a sperm and an egg. Of course you don't. You know why? Because you did not need the approval of others, honey. Your sperm was going right after that egg. Ain't nobody was looking for sperm 2, sperm 3, and sperm 4. Sperm 1 was like, I need an egg, and I'm going to go for it. Because I am ready to enter this world. And for some reason, we are born into this world, and all of a sudden, we need the approval of others to do this. We need the approval of others to do that. We need the approval of others to cry. We need the approval of others to dance. You understand? It's just too much approval. Approve yourself. You are that divine being, and you deserve everything that you want, and that God has for you as well. Cause, yeah, you bad. You bad. One more thing I feel like before I leave you guys. Of course, I'm a creative being. I see myself always as a creative being, a creative mind. Every single thing that I do, I believe, is from my creative, energetic force being. And I feel like that's also, I know that's a reason to why I also am so spiritually connected because of my creativity. And that's how I also know that other creators have the power to be extremely aligned with source and to change and to influence. I think the power in creativity is also the power in the ability to influence and change and navigate and transform and, I was going to say create, but creation. You get me? So something that I love to do and that I think is just who I am, but I would suggest to you guys to do it if you are not or don't consider yourself a creative, even though I think we are all creative beings. You need to become way more artistic, creative, and fluid with your expression. One of the ways that I learned so much about myself, and one of the ways that I, even in like teaching and just dealing with other kids, when you create and you freely create, you allow your mind to show you who you really are. When you just take a pen, which is why, sometimes early childhood education is such like a passion of mine, because when you see those kids just on the floor and they're playing with the crayons and the colors and shapes and they make whatever they want out of that, it's so beautiful, and it's kind of sad that now we have so much technology that the organic, true way of connecting with ourselves is being taken away. But even as we get older as adults, it doesn't change. We think we need to stop. And we're like, oh my God, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I don't know what to do with my life. It's because you stop being that child that you were never supposed to stop being. You become more responsible, but you don't stop being a child. I even told my mom that. I was like, you need to still be a child. You need to, that joy is what I'm talking about. That joy. And it's like, I don't want to get old and all of a sudden get sad. Listen. And if I do slap me across my wrist, listen. But I don't even think I will, because I just don't see life that way, And yeah, it allows me to just be, let me just take a chill pill and just relax and create. And yeah, I good. Write it down, sing it out. Even if you can't sing, still sing. Even if you can't dance, put on some music and dance. Even if you can't draw, just go to an art class or just get some paint and just use your fingers, see what it looks like. Listen, use whatever you have to express yourself, even if it's in your alone time. Get creative and love yourself and allow your mind to show you who you really are, without the world telling you how to stroke it and how to paint it and how to build it and how to create it. Like, no. We're not here for that. We are here for our truest individualistic selves. Yes. So beautiful people, it's been a lovely time being here with you, and again, I just spreading love and light because that is what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. And I just want to continue to just, give you guys some positive energy. Go forth into this week and just kill it. We have a full moon coming up, babes. We have a full moon coming up. And if you know what the full moon represents completion, and it just represents growth. So whatever seed you planted at the time of the new moon, October 1st, we're going to have a full moon. And I want you guys to just embrace it all. Whatever you planted in that new moon phase will come to fruition in this full moon. And you will see it in some way, form, or fashion. And of course, I'm leaving you with love and light, because we're keeping it light, we're keeping it blessed, because we don't stress, we only keep breathing. Peace.